Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I will recap the movie titled Furiosa. In the green place, a young Furiosa is out picking peaches with her friend Valkyrie. Suddenly, the two of them hear a noise. Furiosa goes to investigate and is captured by intruders, scavengers led by a man named Toe Jam. Valkyrie rushes to the village informing them about Furiosa. Mary, Furiosa's mother, and the Vuvolini general get into action. Mary kills one of the bikers, then another, taking their bikes in turn. Meanwhile, Furiosa damages the bike, slowing down her kidnapper's journey and assuring that Mary is able to follow them to the headquarters of their boss, Dementus. Upon their arrival, Toe Jam is confronted by one of Dementus' lieutenants, Rizdale Pell. He demands that Toe Jam tell him about Furiosa, but Toe Jam insists that he will speak only with Dementus. Before Toe Jam can enter Dementus' tent, Furiosa tosses his spine strap in his bicycle's rear wheel, badly splitting Toe Jam's throat. Rizdale then brings the girl to Dementus. Unimpressed, and with Rizdale unable to answer his questions, Dementus summons Toe Jam, but he dies from the injuries. Dementus then orders his men to take Furiosa to another tent and safeguard her. Meanwhile, Mary infiltrates the camp. She reaches the tent containing Furiosa. Inside, she discovers a wound-cleaning Furiosa who pleads for mercy, claiming to be a mother as well. Mary chooses to spare her and leaves with Furiosa, but the woman immediately informs Dementus. Mary attempts to lose Dementus and his forces in the storm, but it becomes clear to her that they will catch up. She stops and tattoos Furiosa's left arm a star map leading to the green place. She then provides her with a peach tree seed, telling her to plant it and protect the green place. At first, Furiosa obeys and runs off. Soon, she can no longer bear it and runs back, only to be captured along with her mother. Dementus then has his men string Mary up. He then forces Furiosa to watch as his minions torture and kill Mary. Following this, Dementus cages up Furiosa, making her his prisoner. Meanwhile, the history man, who is kept in the cage with her, offers to teach her, but she does not show any interest. One day, Dementus and his forces are out exploring the Wasteland when they come across a war boy from the Citadel. Dementus tells him that they are looking for the green place. Though the war boy is confused at first, they learn from him that the Citadel may have what they seek. He tells them that it has an enormous amount of fresh water and green veggies as well. They follow his directions to the Citadel. Once there, Dementus calls to the people of Citadel, making a declaration. He tells them that they have a choice, that they can bring him their leaders and cast them down, and that if they do, they'll avoid suffering. He tells them that they enslave and exploit them, but if they come to him, he will free them and they will all share the wealth. Immortan Joe, the head of the Citadel, demands that Dementus' forces select a single war boy from his army. The selected war boy then leaps into Dementus' men with a thunderstick in each hand. His remaining war boys then swarm Dementus' convoy and they are forced to retreat. With his forces diminished but not depleted, Dementus comes up with a new plan to capture one of the three fortresses of the Wasteland gas town. He and his forces attack one of Immortan Joe's convoys, succeeding in fighting off his forces and taking it over. They then ride it into Gas Town, disguising some of the men as war boys and pretending that it is under attack. They succeed in convincing the leaders there to raise the gates, and once inside, manage to capture control, allowing the remainder of Dementus' forces to invade the town. Afterward, Dementus returns to Immortan Joe demanding a deal. He explains that he has planted bombs in Gas Town and they can only be stopped from blowing up with the help of a code that only he knows. He tells him that if he does not agree to make him the leader of Gas Town, then he will set them off and destroy the town. Immortan Joe's attention, however, is drawn to Furiosa. He asks about her, and Dementus claims that she is his own child, referring to her as Little D. When Immortan Joe questions this, noting the lack of physical resemblance, Dementus claims that Furiosa got her mother's perfections and none of his deficiencies. Immortan Joe then asks Furiosa for the truth of this, and Dementus claims her to be mute, but Furiosa speaks up for the first time, stating that Dementus is not her father and that he killed her mother. Immortan Joe agrees to the deal, but forces Dementus to surrender both Furiosa and one of his men, the organic mechanic, in exchange for becoming the leader of Gas Town. Following this deal, Furiosa is led to Immortan Joe's harem, the intention being to raise her as one of his wives. She is then led away to her own personal quarters. Once there, she secretly cuts off her long hair but pretends it is still attached. She is taken away to another room by Rictus Erectus, Immortan Joe's youngest son, who seems infatuated with her, but she manages to escape. Furiosa flees and hides while Rictus tries to search for her, but fails. Furiosa then disguises herself, pretending to be a boy and joining up as one of the workers in Immortan Joe's crew. She finds herself in the House of Holy Motors, where it is declared that they are going to build something beautiful for Immortan Joe, who will rise from the ashes of the world. Although some of the people there think she looks vaguely familiar, she manages to hide herself by remaining completely mute. The goal of the project is to build a new war rig, one which will be the finest in the Wasteland, complete with a menacing drill known as the Bomby Knocker. This powerful machine is to be driven by Praetorian Jack, known for having done the most runs on the Fury Road and having brought back the bounty every time. On its very first run, the war rig comes under attack by the Octoboss, one of Dementus' men who has since gone rogue and created his own band of motor flyers, a menacing crew who attack from both the sky and the land. During the battle, Furiosa employs the bombing knocker to great effect, helping to wipe out the Octoboss and his crew, but in return, everyone aboard the war rig is killed. Just then, Jack is attacked and she comes to his rescue. During the fight, her disguise is stripped away, and Jack recognizes her as being a woman. She then makes a play to take the war rig, hoping to use it to help her find the green place, but he easily rebuffs her attack, leaving her standing alone in the wasteland. Just as it seems that all is lost for Furiosa, Jack has a change of heart. He returns to her, telling her that he's had a bad day. He adds that he lost his convoy and his crew, and that he's going to need to start again. He tells her that he's driving off thinking that he ought to start with her, that she has good vision and is able to keep her head in a crisis. He continues that she may be raw, but that she has a purposeful savagery about her, and that if she gives him time, he can teach her everything she needs to survive and to get wherever it is she needs to go. Furiosa agrees and goes on a number of runs with Praetorian Jack. The two of them soon become close, even romantic. One day, the two of them pay a visit to Gastown to fuel up, only to find the place in chaos as the supplies are barely existent, and Dementus' grasp on the town weak. The two barely escape and return to Immortan Joe to report what is happening. Immortan Joe orders the two of them to Bullet Farm, where they are to load up on ordnance in order to take on Dementus and his men. Upon arrival there, however, they discover Dementus and his men ransacking the town. Praetorian Jack uses the war rig to force his way through the gate, while Furiosa assumes a sniper position, hoping to take out Dementus from a distance. Dementus, however, manages to dodge her shot. In the conflict, the war rig is lost and Furiosa and Jack are forced to flee in the car. The two of them decide to try to find Furiosa's green place, but find themselves quickly pursued by Dementus and his crew, unable to lose them in the wasteland. Dementus pursues in a powerful monster truck called the 6 Foot. Furiosa attempts to shoot him using a boomstick given to her by Jack, but her left arm is caught between the cars and crushed. Dementus then rams into their car, wrecking it and capturing both Furiosa and Jack. Afterward, Dementus has Furiosa chained up, similar to the way he chained up her mother, though not realizing that she is the same girl he made a prisoner of as a child. He asks where the two of them were going so full of hope, telling them that there is no hope, not even for him. He has his men chain up Praetorian Jack to a motorcycle, then drag him along, torturing and killing him. In the ensuing commotion, Furiosa manages to break off what remains of her left arm, allowing her to escape. Furiosa returns to the Citadel, now having lost both her lover and her star map that would lead her to the green place. Giving her name as Praetorian Furiosa, she has maggots applied to the stump of her arm to prevent the flesh from becoming infected. After that, she fashions a new mechanical arm to replace the one she lost. Afterward, the history man narrates that Immortan Joe began the 40-day Wasteland War to smoke out Dementus and what remained of his biker horde for good. Fueled by her rage and grief at everything she has lost, Furiosa seeks a vehicle to hunt down Dementus. From a scrap of the wasteland, she and a group of Immortan Joe's men put together a new vehicle, the Cranky Black. As she rides off, one of the men asks just who she is. The history man, now part of Immortan Joe's team, tells him that she is the darkest of angels and the 5th rider of the apocalypse. Dementus and what remains of his biker gang attempt to flee into the wasteland, but Furiosa catches up with him. She makes swift work of him, taking away his water, ammunition, and even one of the wheels of his motorbike. She asks him if he remembers her, but he does not, only recognizing her as the woman he tortured with Jack before and not the girl that he imprisoned as a child. He then makes a move to try to escape, grabbing the knife in her boot only for her to quickly rebuff him. Furiosa then tells him that 15 years ago, there was a woman that he killed. He asks if she was her mother or sister, because there have been so many that he does not remember everyone. She then tells him that despite everything he did to her mother, she was magnificent. She says that she wants her childhood and her mother back and then beats him severely. Dementus tells her that this is exactly how he feels, that his own family was taken from him unjustly. He then gives her a suggestion. If she goes around the back and shoots him, then you won't know the precise moment of his execution. She tells him that she will always remember his face as the bullet goes through his brain. Dementus mocks her, saying that it's brilliant that he'll be dead and she'll still be in sorrow over her mother. He tells her that she is never going to get anything close to what she wants, even if she kills him. Furiosa attacks again and he finally passes out from the pain. As he wakes up, she goes over to his teddy bear and inspects it. Finally, Dementus recognizes Furiosa because earlier he had given her the bear. Dementus tells her that he's been waiting for her, someone who is worthy of him. He tells her that if she does it right, then she can become just like him. Furiosa says that she's not a monster like him. At this point, the history man states that she took away Dementus' voice by simply shooting him in the head, and they spent the rest of the day in silence. Later, in the hydroponic gardens of the Citadel, a peach tree grows on the decaying body of Dementus. After 15 long years, Furiosa managed to get her revenge and fulfilled her mother's mission to save the green place by planting the seed in Dementus' body. And that's how the movie ends. For more content like this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.